So far, so good. Thanks for getting all that trash out.
Oh, there we go.
Good morning. Thank you, Brock.
Gotcha.
Good morning. Technical difficulty. The one first, the first live we tried here this morning made me reconnect. So thank you for coming back over here, you guys. Appreciate it. So good morning. Rodman, I was checking the tracking yesterday and it looks like a package that was going to you. It says missent, which usually means I wrote something wrong on the address and the package is coming back. So as soon as I get that package back, I'll turn around and send it back to you with the correct information. So sorry about that. I can't even really remember what was in the package. So we'll just have to wait for it to come back. Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's a trip report guide. Okay. 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 Yeah, I don't have any more of those to send you in the meantime, so there we are. Let's see here. Give me a second.
like in society in 100 years from now?
In 100 years, psychedelics could be deeply integrated into society. The end of the war on drugs might finally happen, allowing these substances to be used openly and responsibly. We'll likely see a rise in spiritual practices as people explore new dimensions of consciousness. This could lead to breakthroughs in mental health care, offering innovative treatments for various conditions. Psychedelics might even help us map alternate dimensions or communicate with non-human beings. Overall, they could revolutionize our understanding of the mind and the universe.
That's what AI has to say. That's a little AI action. That's pretty crazy. All you have to do is say that into the phone, and it gives you back all that information. What's that all about? That's just crazy. Give me a second here. Right, Bill? Of course you're right. Good morning, everybody. Anybody want to push the like button or double tap their phone? If you just I've heard, if you just double tap your screen, that gets the old like going. So we ask for likes, not because I need you to like me, even though I want you to. The more likes that we get, it moves us up in some algorithm action, and it randomly gives the feeds out to more people worldwide. So it helps the algorithm, right, Joey D? So thank you if you're either pushing a like button or double tapping your screen. Completely appreciate it. Josiah, can I call out who? You know what, okay, I'll say, all right, Derek, thank you. I tend to not want to do that because sometimes people are setting me up. It's like random people are setting me up and I don't know it. I'm like, I don't pay attention, okay? As much as I should, that is.
If you want to know what double tapping your screen looks like,
What's it? I don't get it.
it's like double tap your screen, and then that'll get you to hit the like button. It's like, if you can just double tap, I'm double tapping the screen.
Did he just do that? What just happened? Did somebody? I'm pretty confused. I didn't even know he was in the house. I'm feeling double tapped. How do you double tap your dad's head? Okay? Be quiet back there. I got double tapped a few times. Now, if that doesn't make you guys hit your like button, I don't know what will. What will? A lot of people think you dosed this morning, bro. I don't think you did.
No, just happy.
Yeah, he's just a good guy.
Okay.
He just tap and pop, it's double tap. So out of line. He's so out of line that he's in line. Get it? We have some interesting stuff to go over today. But in the meantime, who wants a few goofy dad jokes? Dad joke time? Dad joke, bad joke. I was reading an article, and it was called Dad Humor. And they were saying, how come you can use the two words dad anywhere, and you can use humor anywhere. But once you put the two together, the article said it's like putting, I forget what he said. It was like putting cracks and asses together. Both words are okay, but once you put them together, they're like, wait a minute. So once you put those two words together, dad joke, you're already getting ready to, dad joke, okay? Let's run with a few of them. How's this? Why was the whale sad? Why was the whale sad? Well, it lost its porpoise. Porpoise. It lost its porpoise. Yep. That's why. That one you've heard before, but you haven't heard this one. You haven't heard this one. Why do crabs never give to charity? Why do crabs never give to charity? Is it because they're crabby? No, I'm sure they are, but that's not it. It's because they're shellfish. That's right. Okay. Yep, they're shellfish. How's that one? Woz liked it. How's this one? I was going to grow some herbs, but I couldn't find the thyme. Rosemary, sage, and thyme. Okay. We'll do better. We can do better. For example, I tried to catch some fog. But I missed. Yep. How about this one? Why doesn't the sun need to go to college? Why doesn't the sun need to go to college? Because it already has 1,000,000 degrees. Okay? I'm going to say this one. I hope Jesus Christ in Australia is not here yet. Okay? He already has 1,000,000 degrees. That son, I wish my son, never mind. Okay, here we go. If Jesus Christ in Australia is here, I guarantee he's going to comment. Okay? The rest of you don't have to. We can wait for his. I saw a Beaver movie last night. Yep, I saw a Beaver movie. It was the best damn movie I've ever seen. Beaver Dam. Okay? Keep that one to yourself. What did the ocean say to the beach? What did the ocean say to the beach? Nothing. It just waved. Sandy, you're good. Okay? How about this one? This one's a good substrate joke. Excuse me. Good substrate joke coming up here. A dung beetle walks into a bar and asks, "Is this stool taken?" Yeah, that's creepy. Okay. Oh, gosh. Why didn't the seagull fly over the bay? Because then it would be a bagel. said it. I said it. Oh. I couldn't marry a gardener. I couldn't marry a gardener. They're way too rough around the hedges. Okay. Why couldn't the shellfish farmer go for a run? The guy that gathers shellfish, why couldn't he go for a run? Because he pulled a muscle. Oh, these are so silly. Okay, a forester is walking through the forest and he yells, "Stop! You can't cut me down. I'm talking to a tree." The forester, no, and the tree yells, "Stop! You can't cut me down. I'm a talking tree." The forester responds, "Yeah, and you'll die a log." Bad delivery on that one. I could have done better. How are babies? How are babies delivered? How are babies delivered? You know, what's the myth? I always was looking for him to fly by when I was a kid. Don't forget there were 6 of us. Babies delivered, aren't they a stork? They're delivered by Amazon free. Nowadays, baby. I think they're delivered by a stork, right? Well, that's just the small babies. The larger babies are delivered by a crane. Okay. Yeah, you guys like that one. Anytime I can make Sue laugh, I'm good. Okay? Are there any more in here that I should tell? Okay, this one. This one's very, this one's right down our alley. Okay? What happened when Ali Algi and Freddie Fungus started dating? What happened? What it was, too? Wait. Swallow doesn't deliver babies. No, it doesn't. They never make it. What happened when Ali Algi and Freddie Fungus started dating? Well, they took a liking to each other. Okay. So they took a liking to each other. Okay, all right. That's enough goofy stuff. That's it. Let me find, I want to do one more thing. Here it is. Okay. Dad jokes. I guess I'm not on today a little bit. Drugs. Heroin was marketed and sold. It's originally marketed and sold as a cough suppressant in the U.S. from 1895 until 1924. Cough suppressant. Congress realized that heroin didn't stop coughs, but it did turn its users into junkies. So they did something about it. That's crazy. The CIA, we already talked about this, dosed at least 100 people of unknowing subjects with LSD as part of the MK Ultra project. The project actually resulted in several deaths. CIA. Cannabis is the most popular illicit drug in the U.S. What's number 2? Most popular illicit drug in the US. Cannabis is number one. What's number two? Illicit, illegal. Corey D, all over it. Corey D, you're right. Cocaine's number two. I'm sure fentanyl and these opioids and stuff, they have their really strong numbers too. But yep, powdered donuts, Sandy, number two. About 5% of the US population has used prescription drugs recreationally. 5% of the US, they get a prescription drug and they use it for other reasons. Opioids are the most popular, but tranquilizers like alprazolam and Xanax are most commonly used recreationally of the prescribed drugs. So that doesn't count as an illicit drug, I guess. It's not going to be an illicit drug, but you're using it incorrectly, right? Mescaline. Mescaline is naturally occurring hallucinogenic drug that's harvested from the San Pedro cactus. This cactus is native to South America, but it can be grown in other places with a similar climate. Injury report. I was growing, somebody had sent me a small little peyote button, little San Pedro cactus button. It was about that big. I think Sandy's children even planted it one time when they were visiting. And that was sitting in a nice little container and everything. And I would always put it in the hottest place I could find. So this thing was shifted around the yard. And I'd put it in different places. So, because in Michigan, we're sure not getting desert weather. So whenever I would get anywhere hot, I'd put that pot in that hot area. This was some time ago, maybe even before, in fall. I go out to get the pot and I'm going to move it to another hot spot. And it had been knocked over. It had been knocked over by some wild animal. And then you could see that the animal had been digging at it and slightly chewed a little bit on the peyote button. Just a little, and it wasn't the peyote, but the plant. And I don't know if they were like, well, I don't like it. But yeah, next thing you know, I lost my opportunity. I probably wasn't going to do very good anyways because of the weather. But we've been trying to grow that thing for quite a while. So bad news. I was like brokenhearted. I had to go get Brock. I go, Brock, let's go look. You have to go look at this. You sure it wasn't Brock in his beaver costume? No, Herb. I did get Brock to look and he never gave me a guilty eye. I don't think it was him. Right, Sandy? Almost 2 years since you guys planted that for me. Polysubstance use is an abuse that refers to the powerful mixing of psychoactive drugs. John Belushi, River Phoenix, and Philip Seymour Hoffman all died as a result of polysubstance, an overdose of a mix of drugs. Was Heath Ledger in that group? Did Heath Ledger do a big mix? Talk to me about Heath. You guys know. What was the story with Heath? He's a pretty good actor. Sure, all of those guys were good, weren't they? All of those people were. John Belushi, outstanding. River Phoenix, he was going to start being somebody. Philip Seymour Hoffman's outstanding. Yep. Excuse me. The legality of recreational cannabis in the Netherlands is somewhat complicated. Although use and sale has been decriminalized, the cultivation of the plant is still largely illegal. How do they get that then? You can use it and you can sell it, but you can't grow it. So you're basically saying you have to smuggle it in. That's the only way you're going to get it. That's crazy. Chewing gum. Chewing gum is only available by prescription in Singapore. And only gum that's therapeutic, such as nicotine gum, are even allowed. Bubble gum, forget it. Bazooka Joe, you're never going to Singapore. Chewing gum, the only kind you can have is if it's a therapeutic. That's crazy. One more thing, and this was pretty crazy. The iceberg that the Titanic hit, you remember that? Big old iceberg, right? The iceberg that's such a shame too. They should never have had to hit that iceberg. That captain going full speed ahead in an ice flow zone with warnings, goes to bed. All you had to do was shut the thing down for the night and everybody lives. The iceberg that the Titanic hit in 1912 came from Greenland. And it was probably thousands of years old, possibly as much as 100,000 years old. That block, that iceberg, 100,000 years old. No wonder it won. Fascinating stuff, seriously. Fascinating. Let's get to work. Let's go to class. They didn't have telescopes. They did have the guys up in the crow's nest, but it was all foggy and everything. They couldn't really see. Should have just shut the thing down. Like the captain of the California did. Have a nice trip. We label everything, don't we? Excuse me. We label everything. And in our limited human brain, it's always linear. It's always good or bad. It's win or lose. It's off or on. Everything's like, ooh, ooh. We just do that. And it's so common we don't even realize. Whenever I find myself thinking linearly, I try to stop. But I find myself doing it more than I think. It's weird. I don't want to be a linear thinker. The whole good trip, bad trip idea is flawed. This is a small article from Tricycle Day Today newsletter. I have two that I'm going to uncover with you guys today. I love what he's going to say here. This is sort of like a letter from the editor that he closes his newsletters out with. The whole good trip, bad trip idea is flawed. No, this isn't us getting on a soapbox to deliver platitudes about reframing challenging experiences. It's just an overly simplified way of looking at things. Like, think about taking your kids to Disneyland. Were the animatronics in It's a Small World creepy as hell? Yes. But were the churros on point? Yes. So two things can be true. I love that. Was Small World creepy? In a new study, same goes for mushroom journeys. There are usually ups and downs. And now we have science to prove it. Welcome to Jack. Welcome to Jack. In a new study, Robin Carhart Harris and his band of merry researchers analyzed hundreds of trip reports to create a qualitative map of the psilocybin experience. And they found that journeys follow a surprisingly consistent emotional trajectory. I'm going to give you the 4 steps in the trajectory. Okay? There's the angry ascent. In the angry ascent phase, the first hour brings anxiety, about 28% of the people. It brought nausea, about 34% of the people. It brought restlessness, about 21% of the people. And confusion, about 17% of the people. Opening phase of a trip. So we're not talking about it's a good trip or a bad trip. We're just talking about the journey of the trip. The second phase, they have it analyzed and they've called it the stillness phase. Now remember that this is a compilation of many hundreds of trip reports where you actually send in your experience and they catalog it along with hundreds of other people's experiences, and this is what they've qualitatively come up with. The second phase is called the stillness phase. Physical sensations like energy rushes, 19%. Tingling, 15%. Feeling cold, 9%. And heaviness, 9%. Lead many at this phase to seek quiet isolation. They're going to slip off and they're going to handle what they're going through by themselves. Third phase, the blissful return. This is the come down, and it brings positive emotions, usually described as pleasant, 34%, peaceful, 22%, reflective, 17%, and socially enjoyable, 16%. And then the final phase, not good trip, not bad trip. We're not labeling it. There's the clarity window. As confusion fades, mental sharpness kicks in. Entering flow states, and a newfound appreciation for ordinary experiences. That's the afterglow. A newfound appreciation for ordinary experiences. The researchers think this emotional roller coaster might actually be therapeutic, i.e., it's a feature of the process, not a bug or a problem. The transition, listen to this, the transition from distress to relief mimics how our brain naturally overcomes challenges. Essentially, mushrooms can compress months of emotional processing into a few hours. So keep that in mind the next time you're whispering your intentions. Maybe it's less about avoiding the bad and more about embracing the full experience. After all, you can't ride Space Mountain without enduring the sweaty line first. Really, really good article right there. Give me 5 people that agree that was a good article. Yeah. And once we start, good trip, I'm on a bad trip. They're all part of the experience. And I recognize all of those phases too, by the way. I've seen some of these outfits where they ask you to send in information for like your experience so they can start putting all of this information together and do some real good data analysis. I should take the time to write them sometime. There's another article in here, and this one, you guys know Pops is always bringing down the boom. I'm always bringing down the boom on the wolves out there. The people that dare to take what we find healthy and frankly magical, and turn it into some way to rip you off. Okay? There's this whole new thing. I've just been seeing it. It's like, what the hell is this? Vaping mushrooms? There's a mushroom vape deal going now. Immediately, every alarm bell I have on the planet's going off. You can't. What are you talking about? Vaping mushrooms. And see, unless you're experienced and you have a lot of information or you're tied into a community, it's so easy to get caught up in this crap. There's people out there that don't know. Listen, it's a nice article. It'll take me a few minutes to get through it. The shroom boom has yielded the global market all manners of ways to consume the enigmatic and ancient magic mushroom. Branded chocolates, capsules, sublingual lozenges, sprays, transdermal patches, and now there's mushroom vapes. Hold on a second. If magic mushrooms are still a highly illicit substance in 99% of the jurisdictions around the world, then how are there magic mushroom vapes stocked in thousands of smoke shops? From the United States to Malaysia. And how are they openly traded online? How are these products possible when there is evidence that heat or high temperatures can break down the psilocybin, potentially rendering it inert? Duh. The simple answer is because there are generally no psychedelic mushrooms at all in the booming branded consumer packaged goods that is a market for magic mushroom vapes. The combination of global prohibition and consumer demand for accessible psychedelic products has led to a skyrocketing industry of the new psychoactive substances known as NPS. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, NPS could be anything. This new psychoactive substances, psychedelic products that they're coming out with. According to the Office on Drugs and Crime, NPS can be identified as a substance of abuse either in a pure form or a preparation that is not controlled by the 1961 Single Convention on Narcotics. To understand the scale of our current NPS supply, what's coming out, the UN has detected an average of 520 new NPSs every year, average since 2013. 500 across the world, 520 phony balonies per year. So what actually are NPS molecules? And how did they end up saturating the global market for psilocybin while still managing to be marketed as magic mushrooms or proprietary mushroom blends? Is this interesting to you guys? Should I go on with this article? What are these NPSs that they put in these products? Good. You guys are paying attention. There is no accepted use. When the UN established its global drug conventions, psilocybin was relatively unknown, 1961. The term for the substance itself wasn't even coined until 1958. And despite thousands of years of its traditional and ritualistic use, Western institutions labeled it as one of the most dangerous and therefore controlled substances available in the world. Psilocybin was and remains Schedule 1 substance in the UN's Drug Control Conventions, meaning it has no current accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. That's how it's categorized. In 2006, I told you the big breakthrough started in 2006. I've mentioned this to you guys a few times. Roland Griffiths and his team at Johns Hopkins University published clinical research substantiating the potential of psilocybin to, quote, occasion mystical experiences having substantial and sustained personal meaning and spiritual significance. The team at Johns Hopkins University in 2006 released research papers saying that's the way to use it. Okay? This is a period since that's marked by new and renewed clinical research, interest into psilocybin and other psychedelic potential. Along with it came more media attention and a change in public perception, and consequently, consumer demand for psilocybin and other psychedelic molecules. The wave of hype around psilocybin, which the notorious United States Food and Drug Administration declared a breakthrough therapy in 2018 in an effort to speed up the development and review of the drugs, ultimately created a demand that no one was or is able to fulfill legally. Consumer demand for magic mushrooms spiked through the roof in the absence of comprehensive or culturally scientific informed framework for regulation. And despite the effort for the psychedelic renaissance to ensure that psilocybin is slowly and carefully studied through a medical lens, certain businesses have been looking to cash in from the wave of consumer interest in these products. Here we go. Thanks to the government inertia on decriminalizing or regulating access to traditional psychedelics, companies have explored the market by creating cheaper, less restricted compounds that possess similar psychopharmacological properties to psilocybin, but they have a stronger shelf life and potentially are less risky than psilocybin due to their unscheduled status. They haven't been scheduled, these things that they're putting. A similar market has developed for synthetic cannabinoid, SCRAs, that supposedly simulate the feeling of THC highs through other chemicals. So what they've done with the whole THC phony baloney chemicals, they're doing the same thing with psychoactive drugs. Consider the legendary late underground chemist Sasha Shulgin, who is purported to have an intellectual property portfolio of over 500 psychoactive molecules that have not been publicly released in any significant way. There are many tryptamine compounds and others, and the 4-HOMET, which in itself is a type of prodrug for psilocybin. Both convert psilocybin to psilocin upon entering the bloodstream. The principle remains that numerous research chemicals can be unassumingly packaged, labeled, and distributed as a magic mushroom product, causing uninformed consumers to feel a little psychedelic-ish buzz that's reminiscent of magic mushrooms. If they don't dig too deep into the ingredient list on their products, they may not be suspicious of anything. And because mushrooms have entered the cultural pantheon of mainstream global society during this brave new world era of hyper-capitalism, their image and likeness has been plastered onto all manner of consumer packaged goods and imprinted upon the dominant social trends and tropes of our time. You see it in the clothes, and you walk through a clothes store. There's a mushroom pattern on half the clothes in there. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is the cultural phenomenon. So as a result, now you're getting all these people that are open to not knowing what the heck they're getting. Here we go. Namely vaping, which ultimately leads to a market flooded with phony mushroom vapes. What's inside a magic mushroom vape? I sampled a psilocybin vape once at a conference. There was a distinct tryptamine-like buzz that set in, a palpable sense of buzzing, time distortion, and visual perturbations, marked by a sort of alien insectoid visual field. However, it never made me feel compelled to seek it out again. A brief encounter with this product was enough. Let's check this out. Conveniently, ingredient lists are often missing from these listings, stating only that there's a proprietary mushroom blend inside them. If you see that, that's a big red flag. Notice the tryptistic fields of mushrooms. Given the heat that will destroy the active compounds in actual psilocybin-containing mushrooms, what seems to be being used in vapes are NPS compounds, novel tryptamines, which includes thousands, if not millions, of possible molecular combinations that attempt to produce the similar effects of the psilocybin molecule. There are even dodgy sites offering advertorials as the best magic mushroom vapes that effectively market the same NPS on multiple websites. One company, 15 different websites, calling it all kinds of stuff. A platform called the Houstonia magazine published an article in January 28, 2025, titled "The Best Mushroom Vape and Top Shroom Pens for Mind-Melting Fun." Yeah, they're doing a product review. The article touts the high-quality proprietary mushroom blend with 800 puffs per pen. At the same time, it has a disclaimer saying these products do not contain psilocybin or psilocybin mushrooms. They're calling it the best magic mushroom vape ever. You can get 800 puffs, but if you read it says right next to it, but there's no psilocybin here. A few sentences below, 2 mushrooms are mentioned for the first time by name. Mushroom extracts like lion's mane and Amanita muscaria are good for you. They can make your brain work better and heart healthy. That's what's written on the package. So does this mean that Amanita and lion mane mushroom extracts in these is what's in these magic mushroom vapes? Maybe. We don't know. The infamous Diamond Shrooms premium microdose chocolates fiasco in the summer of 2024, in which magic mushroom produced in a similar vein to these vapes discussed here, 180 people were hospitalized and 2 people died. The FDA product testing uncovered a cocktail of drugs in these chocolates. Drugs I can't even pronounce the names of. But no psilocybin. The interest in these magic mushroom vapes is not just in the West. It's worldwide. They have become extremely popular with the young, unmarried Malaysian adult men as well. The global reach of online markets means these substances can be used anywhere in the world where there is no legislation controlling NPSs. A post from 6 months ago on Reddit. Do you guys know about the magic mushroom? The one famous right now and the one they're using it on the vape? The top response on the forum claims what's really inside is a synthetic drug, more specifically, a synthetic weed, a synthetic THC that mimics cannabis, but is a 10 to 100 times more powerful than weed. To cut right to the chase, magic mushroom vapes likely contain much more than the innocuous proprietary blend. There is no research or data of what the vaping smorgasbord of chemicals will do to your mind and body in the short term and the long term. These products are unscrupulously capitalizing on the broader consumer interest in mushrooms, delivering some sort of high, specifically engineered to evade legal repercussions and to fit commercial purposes, rather than to provide people with psilocybin mushrooms that have any verifiable benefits. Final thing. I'm not saying that I'd never hit one again if the time and place was right, but I'd strongly advise against using this type of product. As a cognitive libertarian, I believe it's fundamentally your right to vape as many research chemicals as you want. This should be done, however, in a transparent way, with people knowing what they're putting in their bodies. It all leads to know your source. That's what it leads to. Know your source. You should have a trusted circle and know your source. Or be your source, Crow. That's a good one. That's even the best way to go. So that's even best, right, Greenie? Be your source. You get a lot of benefits from it. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Everybody, first person to get this number correct, I'm going to send an 1/8 of an ounce of supplementaries to. I'm going to send an 1/8 of supplementary supplementals to whoever has this number first. Paige, you got it, girl. 38. 38 is the number. Pidgey Paige. Paige, I need your address, dear. Send me your address so I can send you this supplementary supplement pack. Okay? Thank you. There were 2 people from yesterday. The 2 winners from yesterday didn't send me their addresses either. The 2 people that won yesterday. So if they could think about getting that to me, I think that would be fantastic. All right? Always glad to see Smart Paige win something here. Let's do our reading to finish up today. That was really good readings from the newsletter today. Talking about don't measure our trips, just experience them. And don't put them in a linear frame. That's exactly what we're trying to get away from. And then be super careful about the products that are out there. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell people. I wouldn't trust a vape pen with this stuff in a million years. I wouldn't trust it in a million years. First of all, just the fact that you're putting that kind of heat to get something, we all know anything over 150 to 180 degrees, boom, after that, all your psilocybin is gone. So it's just, to even think about smoking mushrooms is silly. But You know, I got to keep an open mind like I do about other things. If they can find something, but just the idea of it. You're going to add smoke, a carcinogen, which we do in other ways, along with a healthy dose of something. Rerouting. Do you want to get rerouted? Sometimes don't you feel like just taking a different route? Sometimes, what did Marky say? There you go. Thank you, Emin, for telling us. I agree, Denzen. Let's reroute. What if it wasn't supposed to be so hard? What if we weren't meant to struggle and suffer and force our way through life? When you are striving to prove yourself, when you worry that you aren't enough, when you're constantly comparing yourself to others. Old school, that was one of my big problems. I was always scoring myself by other people's scoreboards. I didn't even have my own scoreboard. I didn't know how to keep score. So I kept your score. And then I'd see what I could do to match it or beat it. It was so whack. When you're constantly comparing yourself to others, when you're struggling, barely able to keep your head above water, I invite you to consider that perhaps it's time to explore how the ego might be getting in your way. Now let's be clear. Ego's a funny thing too. We haven't taught ourselves well what the ego is. We don't want to have no ego at all. We want to have a healthy ego. No ego at all, you're a weirdo. You're missing too many parts. So let's be clear. The ego isn't the enemy. To resist the ego is in and of itself your ego. And it keeps you stuck in your ego even more when you resist it. To exist in this world, you need an ego. You need a personality. You need a name. You need a role. It's okay. I need a name, Pops. I need a role. The guy that's helping, trying to be kinder. I need a role. But that's my ego. My ego isn't, I'm the biggest shot on the block. My ego isn't, I'm driving a Ferrari anymore. My ego has zero to do with yachts. When we get our ego down to a healthy, handleable place, we have a really nice slot in there. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I care about. That's a nice ego. It's okay. An ego is a necessary mechanism for our human existence and daily functioning. So don't judge it. Don't beat it up. Don't fight it. See, we're taught in the new wave, new enlightenment, we have to fight that ego, kill it. No. We have to be really aware of it and understand it and reroute it. Instead, what we want to do is observe. Let's observe our ego for what it is. It isn't the sum total of who you are. It's just a collection of your beliefs, your labels, and your stories about who you think you are and how you think your life should be. See, my ego changed because I didn't keep some of these labels anymore. My beliefs changed. Stories about who I am changed. So my ego morphed. It rerouted. When we're children, we learn that certain behavior helps us avoid pain and receive love. Maybe you got a good grade one day and you are lavished with praise. You recognize that being the smart one was an effective strategy for feeling loved. It went in your collection of identities to cling to, and it set your compass for where you thought you were supposed to go in life. Maybe you were a child prone to making mistakes, getting messy, being too loud, surrounded by messages that you weren't good enough. You began to believe that you were inadequate, and that impacted everything that came after. Though you start as a blank slate with endless potential, by the time you're an adult, you have been molded into a version of yourself that you think will help you get what you need. 3 things: safety, love, validation. You think you've molded yourself into the person that will get those 3 things. Who do I need to be in order to be loved, we ask. And then we create ourselves based off of that answer. This coping mechanism is the ego. It helps us survive as children, but it often limits us as adults. What we are is so much more. Growing up as a preacher's son, I became the good boy, the responsible one, the perfect son. I followed the rules. I got good grades, and I did what was expected of me, believing this is who I really was. But eventually, I felt real trapped inside me, imprisoned by the limited character I had become. I could only access a small portion of my potential. Not that I wanted to be bad. Being stuck in the role of the good boy meant I couldn't be anything else. I couldn't be angry. I couldn't question the authorities. And most important, I couldn't follow my heart because it might disappoint people or rock the boat. It boxed me up for years until one day I woke up. I realized that I was more than the good boy. I was more than the preacher's son. And until I shed that persona, I'll never have the freedom to do what I felt I was meant to do. I have news for you. The ego is just a set of patterns that has been solidified over time. Let me say that again. The ego is just a set of patterns that has been solidified over time. It seems real, but it isn't. And your personality is not permanent. I know this. Those stories and labels are not who you really are. But if you buy into them, they will end up limiting you and become your reality. So consider, if who you are is a story that you made up, whether consciously or unconsciously, then realize you can unmake it too. If you're a story that you've made up, you can unmake it too. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for being here today. I hope you guys liked the message. That was a real good message. The Magic of Surrender book's just chock full of good. And we did a lot of mycology discussions here today, and a few really terrible dad jokes. So go have a phenomenal day today, and I will see you guys here tomorrow. I may not. Brock may be, because I might have a business situation in the morning, but if I'm not here, Brock will be. Okay? Denzen and Herbie and 100 people's here. Clean Grow and Sue Littlemeyer and Michael Patterson. There's my guy, Sean T, Joey D's, Derek Anderson. Thank you, my good friend Sir D, Oreo, Justin LaFlower. Thank you, and Cleany, and 100 people, and Jesus Christ in Australia. Nipper Mama and Herbie and Mike Butterball and Billy D. That's it. That's how long it took me, Bill. 60. I think I was 60. HB, Sue, Glassic, thank you. Iman, Nipper, and B. Hendricks. Lucifer, Clean Grow, Cat, Meowzilla, Derek Anderson, Oreo, thank you, I'm glad. Enormous, yes you did. 420 Team Loud, thank you. Rodman, the Wazzy. Excuse me, good morning, Wazzy. Oreo, Jolie, the Pretty Cantor, Pidgey, Page. Denzen, thank you. HB, Cleany, Rodman, Jesus Christ, Shy Introvert, hi Shy. Trenty, Laura, have a divine day. Billy D, Vegas, you too. Jesus Christ, and Karmadoc. It's IG. Somebody give Karmadoc our IG. Sue Littlemeyer, Nipper Mama, Sandy. Hello, Sandy. Jesus Christ, Mike Buddy Ball, Enormous, Derek Anderson, thank you. Salmaldo, Billy D and Sandy and King Kush and Herbie and Oreo and Mushy and Glassic and Jesus Christ and Mike Buddy Ball and Enormous and Justin OK, Nipper and Hi Nippy, Joe Dees and Married Michael and Notorious and Michael Patterson. Thank you, Michael Kaminsky. I see you out there. Nurs and Waz and Slow Normals and Sue and Karmadoc and 420 Team and Jesus and Summer Wheat and S. Martin, Derek Anderson, Herbie Mawerby, Kabopka, Broken Furby, Jesus Christ, Karma, Joe D. Shy, Derek Anderson, Kenneth Meyerson, Speeding a Plow, Niffer, Mama, Pops, Peace, Love. I'll see you guys tomorrow here. Same time, same mush channel. Out.